God has plans to prosper you, give you hope and a future too. So let me remind you of what you have the power to do. You can win, live your dreams, reach your goals, be happy, you can make it. Get motivated with Cassandra Mack. We've got wellness, church by phone. You don't even have to leave your home to be inspired, to rise a little higher with Cassandra Mack. You got haters, they gon' hate. Keep your head up and just be great. You can make it. Get motivated with Cassandra Mack. Let's get motivated with Cassandra Mack. Some people will compete and compare over the tiniest little things so that they can feel like the biggest person in every room. I'm Cassandra Mack, founder of strategiesforempoweredliving.com, CassandраMackMinistries.com. For more information about my company, the ministry, my brand new inspirational single, Grateful, Thankful, and Blessed, which is available at all streaming sites, you'll see my Linktree link in the video description box. And have you join the Wednesday Wellness Club. If you are a member of the Cassandra Mack YouTube channel at the second tier or higher, you get access to the Wednesday Wellness Club, which is a therapeutic club that meets twice a month by telephone conference call, where we focus on mental health, emotional healing, emotional well-being, mental mastery, all through a biblical lens. You'll see the link in the video description box. There are 3 levels in the YouTube channel membership. And if you join at the second level or higher, that gives you access to the Wednesday Wellness Club in addition to some other things. So let's dive right in. Have you ever been around someone where somebody complimented you or you were sharing your good news, and as soon as you received the compliment or shared your good news, that person went into instant competitive mode and shots were fired? And I mean verbal shots, not, And so you were like, what the heck is going on? And it's important to understand that some people will compete and compare over the smallest little things to feel like they are the biggest in every room. And I mean anything. So let's say that you're at a family gathering and you've lost weight, because that's something you can visibly see. And you've lost a significant amount of weight. Let's say you lost 50 pounds, 40 pounds, something where people can, look at you and see. And you have family members who notice the weight loss, and they're like, wow, you look great. How did you do it? And they're asking you for your advice, for your journey. And you're sharing your journey because you were asked, and you're sharing the changes that you made in order to get to the place where you are now. And then here comes that hating sister-in-law, that hating cousin, that hating brother-in-law. Well, I lost more weight than her. She lost 50 pounds. Well, I lost 60 pounds. And they lost 60 pounds 10 years ago. And that has nothing to do with the conversation in terms of the question they asked you, because they didn't ask her about her weight loss 10 years ago. They're asking you about your recent weight loss. So you were the one that they're asking the question of. But every 5 minutes, she got to chime in and correct you as if she is you and knows your journey. See, she can speak from her journey, but you're talking about what you did. And let's take it up a notch. You did your weight loss journey with the help of a nutritionist. And she's going to sit there and correct you concerning the nutritionist. Well, your nutritionist doesn't know what they're talking about because I didn't need a nutritionist and I did this. And you were like, we ain't even talking to you. Like, you just barged your way into the conversation where the question is being asked of me. You done lost your 60 pounds 10 years ago, but you gained 75. So if I were you, I'd go sit down and take notes. Now, you're not saying this, but people will really take you there, right? We can't say everything that comes to our head. Everything that comes to our head don't need to be said because you'll be fighting all day. But people will really take you there when they come at you and you are just minding your business. You are minding your business. You are eating your food at the family gathering, whatever you eating, enjoying your food, and they're asking you questions. You got two cousins who, are like, hey, how'd you do it? And, I've been trying to do it, and I want to follow some of what you do, and you are happy to share your journey. But that sister-in-law or that cousin wants to rain on your parade because they are competitive. And the thing about human nature, right, is that most human beings are competitive and comparative by nature. They tend to compete and compare where they are in their lives, whether it's financial, whether it's physically, whether it's career-wise, with their circle, the people whom they spend the most time with, or the people who they're in the room with, right? But it's important to understand that as a believer, we don't have to be that way. Because as believers, the only competition that counts is competing against the person in the mirror, is being better than who you were yesterday by taking off the old man and putting on the new man. So it is more like, have I grown in the fruit of the Spirit? Am I better able to discipline my tongue, to put a bridle over my tongue so that everything that comes to my head, especially impolite, rude stuff, isn't being said? I may think it, but I got to try real hard not to say it so that I'm slow to speak. So are we growing in these ways? Am I growing in more? Am I growing in more compassion? Am I growing in more patience? And so these are things that we're really looking at, right? But everybody is not going to be that way. So it's important to understand that just because you are growing in your faith walk and you are growing in the things of God doesn't mean everybody you come into contact with is growing. Even if they call themselves a Christian, you don't know their personal walk. You don't know their battles. You don't know when they're home alone and the lights go off what their thoughts are. You don't know what's in their heart. You only know what they say to you. And you don't even know how much of that is true. So do know that you will come across people like that. If you ever had a situation where you received a compliment or you were sharing good news, and not from a place of bragging, but you were happy and you wanted the people who claim to rock with you rejoice when you rejoice. And when you shared the good news or got the compliment, that person, whoever that person is, got into competitive mode and took their little verbal shots at you, or had to one up you, or had to say something slick to rain on your parade. And you're like, I'm not even bothering anybody. Like, I wasn't even talking to you. Like, I'm talking to this cousin who asked me about my weight loss. How did you insert yourself in a conversation? You were on the other side of the room. Why you don't go back to the other side of the room? Mind your business. Now, we're not saying this, but, people will take you there. So when you're dealing with individuals like that, you have to understand that they're showing you that they're insecure. They're showing you where they are emotionally. But as a believer, you are not in that space. And so it is so important to realize that just because somebody is operating from a low vibrational place doesn't mean you have to join them in that space, because you're not there. You're vibing high. You're vibing with the Holy Spirit. So why are you going to vibe low? So this is what Galatians 6:4 says, NIV version. Each one should test their own actions. Then they can take pride in themselves alone without comparing themselves to someone else. Now, pride within this context doesn't mean be haughty. Pride is like a sense of honor and accomplishment. It's like when you take pride in your work, you're going to do your best work. When you take pride in keeping your home clean, you're going to clean your home. So it's not being haughty, but it is a sense of honor, a sense of accomplishment. So each one should test their own actions. So that's essentially saying we need to examine our motives, right? That's testing our actions. We need to examine our motives. Then they can take pride in themselves alone without comparing themselves to someone else. And so this cousin or in-law or individual who comes over and inserts themselves in the conversation for the sole purpose of raining on your parade and bringing you down so that they can compete and compare with you, you've already seen where their actions are coming from. You can see it's coming from a place of having to compete. It's coming from a place of comparativeness. But you're not even on the same time as them. You're not even operating from the same space as them, because they're not taking pride in themselves alone. They're comparing themselves to your walk concerning your weight loss journey. And I'm using that, but this could be any area of life. I've seen people do it with grades. You know, you're in nursing school, they're in nursing school, and maybe you didn't do so well last year. This year you are just passing your classes with flying colors. And you have that person that as soon as the grade comes out, I mean, the ink didn't even drop. What you got? What you got? Oh gosh, well, I got this, and you're like, oh my, can I see my own test results? Like, stop standing over my shoulder, back up, and let me look at my test in peace. And so when you are dealing with someone who has that comparative nature, it could be extremely frustrating and annoying, but you have to remember that you are not them. Sometimes you got to remind yourself, I am not, thank God I'm not in that space, that I am competing with the person I was yesterday. I'm competing with the person in the mirror. I don't even have the time to know what you got going on, because I am so focused on what God is ordering my footsteps to do. That's my focus, what God is ordering my footsteps to do. And so it's hard not to be annoyed, right? It's hard not to get frustrated. But do your best, this is what I'm getting at, not to get caught up in a one-upping match and feeling like you have to annihilate what they said by letting them know, well, you know what? My grades are better than yours. Or my weight loss is more effective than your weight loss. It's not necessary. The proof is in the results. The proof is in the results. It could even be that you work with someone and you have a colleague who, let's say they hear what college you went to. You know, people talk and they hear that you came from a prestigious college. And you're minding your business, sitting at your desk, on your computer, doing your job. This ain't got nothing to do with them. And they come over and you could already feel the energy as soon as they, hey, Lisa, John, Sam. And as soon as you hear their voice, it's like chalk. Because you already know it's about to be some BS. I heard you went to ABC University. Well, I want you to know that I went to 123 University and I graduated with honors. And you want to say, whoop-de-doo for you. Whoop-de-doo for you. I'm working. What are you even doing here? Go back to your desk. I'm working. You are disturbing me. But when people are in that competitive and comparing space, they can't help it. So just think about what just happened. This coworker is going to leave their desk where they need to be focused on their tasks, whatever they got to do to turn in by the end of the day. But they so worried about you that they're going to take time from the tasks that they need to be doing for their job to come over and tell you about where they went to school and you didn't ask and you don't care. And to tell you that they graduated with honors, like, that's a beautiful thing, whoop-de-doo. But you're trying to do your work. See, when you're not competing and comparing yourself with someone, you are laser beam focused on your task at hand. But they're focused on you. But you're not them. And so it's tempting, right? It might be tempting to be like, well, my college is better than yours. And to find yourself in that space where, you know, you're competing back with them. But sometimes you just have to be in a space where you realize it's no competition. Like, it's no competition. I can't control the space that you're in. You got to work that out psychologically. That has nothing to do with me. You got to work that out emotionally, spiritually. That's a job for Jesus. Where you are in your emotional development, that you get triggered at the slightest chance that someone is being complimented or rejoicing in an accomplishment, that is not something that I need to be dealing with. I am not your therapist. I am not your parent of a minor child where it is my job to mold you, to guide you, to teach you so that you are a productive citizen. We both came to this job, paid to do a job, and we are grown. It is not my job to raise you. And so when you are clear about that, what your role is, see, that's where boundaries come in. And boundaries don't start as other. Boundaries start internally Boundaries start internally. When you have internal boundaries and you are clear about what your role is in every space you enter, you don't get as caught up in stuff because you are clear. You've got a clear boundary that it is not my job to sit here and be the parent in your life. It is not my job to work out your internal issues. You got to be willing to do that. Now, I can clearly see that you're operating from a space of envy, but it is not my job to talk you through that. That's not my job. I got to do this job over here for which I'm paid to do. You came over to my desk. And when you are clear about that, you're going to find that you're going to react differently. You're going to respond. You won't go back and forth with that person. You might just say, oh, congratulations, and go back to the work. And if they continue talking, you may say, I gotta get back to my work, so I can't continue this conversation. You will be that direct, nipping stuff in the bud. You know, congratulations, great. Right now, I can't have a conversation about colleges and what college we both went to because I'm focused on what I got to do here. So you take care. Sometimes you got to let people know. You got to shut it down. And you have to be direct about it so that they understand that you could talk all day, every day, but it's not going to change the fact that I'm not going to have a lengthy conversation with you about something that I am not emotionally invested in and I have absolutely not a care in the world about. And so because I don't have a care in the world about it, now you don't say this to people, but this is the thinking, because you need internal boundaries because they're going to guide how you show up in places and spaces independent of how other people show up. So even when other people show up from a place of envy, from a place of arrogance, from a place of wanting to try to rain on your parade, it is not going to get under your skin in the same way because you realize they are competing with me. I am not competing with them. They're in a space of having to prove. I can clearly discern that just by the fact that they came over to me, asked me, oh, actually, they didn't even ask me. They told me, I heard you went to ABC college. Well, I went to 123 college and I graduated with honors. Okay, what? That doesn't even make sense for the dynamic that's going on in that space. The dynamic is you're busy working. And so you can clearly see that they are bothered, that they are triggered by the college you went to. What does that have to do with you? What do their emotional triggers that they need to figure out a way to work out? What does that have to do with you? What? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You can put them on your prayer list. So when you're saying your prayers throughout the day, when you say your prayers the next day, keep them on your prayer list. God showed them the way. However God leads you to pray. But you ain't got to engage the crazy. You ain't got to engage, and by crazy, I'm talking about the behavior. And I'll give you an example in my own life. I was with a friend of mine years ago, and we went to his family member's house. There are a lot of family members there. And he was talking about my potato salad. And one of the women was like, well, you know, my potato salad, you have always talked about how my potato salad was the best. I can't remember the exact wording. But the gist of the conversation was she had a whole lengthy conversation about her potato salad, how her potato salad was the best. And I mean, she was noticeably irritated by the fact that he complimented me about my potato salad. Now, I'm just minding my business. I don't even have no potato salad. I'm just minding my business. I'm an invited guest minding my business. And she gets in this space where she is visibly upset over the fact that he complimented my potato salad. And she was like, well, I'm, you know, an amazing cook. And she's going on. And whatever I'm eating, I'm just trying to eat my food. And they playing music and I'm bopping my head to the music. I want to enjoy the music in peace and eat my food in peace. And so she was like, well, you know, we should do a cook-off. We should do a cook-off. You know, you make your 3 best dishes and you make your potato salad and I'm going to make my 3 best dishes. I'm trying to remember like the gist of it, but that's the gist of it. And we're going to have a cook-off and we like a whole competition. And this is nuts. Like, this is the space that she's in. And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm not having no competition. You can be the queen of potato salad. And I proceeded to eat my food. And she was annoyed by my comment, but I didn't care. And so the point that I'm making is that Sometimes you got to get in a space where you're like, I'm not going to compete with you. Like, you got to work out whatever triggers you are going through emotionally that is causing you the level of distress over potato salad, where you are visibly upset to the point where you want to have a whole competition. I'm not spending my hard-earned money to have some competition. Baby, you the queen of potato salad. Get you a potato, peel it, make you a crown out of potato skins, and crown yourself the queen of potato salad. I'm really good. And so I say that to say that when people are in a space when they're competing and comparing and you're just minding your business, right? Don't feel like you got to compete and compare back with them. Don't feel like you have to compete and compare. And do understand that as a believer, you have the favor of God on your life. And you also have gifts. And your gifts are going to make room for you, right? The scriptures say your gifts make room for you and put you in the presence of great people. So you're going to be in rooms. But do understand that when you're in rooms that your gifts made room for, everybody in the room ain't going to be happy. So your gifts are going to make room for you. And they're going to put you in the presence of great men, great women. They're going to put you in the presence of people who can influence and open other doors for you. But there will also be other people in the room that's mad that you're even in the room. They're mad that you're even in the room. That ain't your issue, nor is it your problem. If your God-given gifts make room for you, remember that whatever door God opens, no man could shut. So if God opened that door for you, it's for you to be in that room. And if they have an issue, a problem, they're irritated because you're in the room, they have to work that out internally. Do not let somebody's internal chaos, do not allow someone's internal distress that is rooted in envy and competitiveness and comparison become your personal problem. How is their competitiveness and comparativeness your personal problem? See, her issue with the potato salad, that wasn't my personal problem. I'm not invested like that. And so when you are clear that you are not invested like that, you are not going to feel the need to compete and compare. We're not having no competition. You the queen. Get you a potato sack. Do you? And so when we understand that our gifts make room for us, but also everybody's not going to be happy when we're in the room, we learn that comes with the territory. And we learn to still persevere regardless of who don't like you. You still got to do what you came to do regardless of who don't like you. That's their business, their issue, their problem. They're a job for Jesus. You can absolutely pray for them, but don't engage the dynamic of being equally competitive with them. You don't need to go into competitive mode because your gifts already made room for you. Your gifts put you in the room. So if your gifts put you in the room, just do what you came to do. That's their agenda. Don't get caught up in their agenda. Follow the God agenda. Let God order your footsteps. And if you know that God didn't order your footsteps for you to have an argument and go into competitive mode with the person who's one-upping you about their college and how they graduated with honors, your footsteps weren't ordered to get into an argument over that. Your footsteps were ordered to do what you do at your job when you're at your job. So with that being said, I hope you found that helpful. And if you have ever been in this situation where you were just minding your business, doing you were either sharing something good that happened, and not from a place of being braggadocious, you were just thoroughly rejoicing. Or you wasn't even sharing it. Somebody else complimented you. You were really minding your business, or somebody else complimented you, and there were people around or an individual around who was offended by the fact that you were being complimented and came at you with negativity. Has that happened to you? If that has happened to you, put I only compete with the person I was yesterday. Put that in the comments. I only compete with the person I was yesterday. I don't need to compete. I only compete with the person I was yesterday. Because you are a one-of-a-kind soul. You are God's workmanship, each and every one of us. And we are clear that our gifts make room for us. But everybody ain't going to be happy. when you enter the room that your gifts make room for. So with that being said, a couple of announcements. Are you a member of the Cassandra Mack YouTube channel? If not, I would strongly encourage you, because you get access, if you're at the second tier or higher, to the Wednesday Wellness Club. And the Wednesday Wellness Club is very therapeutic, but it is cheaper than therapy. And you have an opportunity twice a month to connect by conference call phone with like-minded people, where we're focusing on mental health, mental mastery, emotional well-being through a biblical lens. So when you click on the link in the description box or the join button, you'll see that there are 3 levels of membership. And if you join at the second tier, again, you get access to the Wednesday Wellness Club. You get access to Church by Phone replay. So Church by Phone live service is free, always available to the public. But if you want the replays that comes with being a member, you also get access to the book club. So our next members book club meeting for members who are of the second tier or higher, that's happening Tuesday, November 7th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's going to happen by Zoom, so we get to see each other on Zoom. We'll all get to see each other on camera, which is great. We'll have we're going to have a great time at the book club, and we're going to be diving into my book, Simple Prayers for the Holidays. And our focus for this book club meeting is prayer points for dealing with holiday stress, holiday sadness, and holiday envy, when you got to deal with those relatives that you know are low-key haters. And so we're going to be focusing on that at this month's book club meeting. So I think that's it for all the upcoming things. And don't forget to get the new single, Grateful, Thankful, and Blessed. It's my new inspirational single that reminds us of the necessity of giving thanks, of counting our blessings instead of focusing on our problems, right? The Bible says, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for those of us who are in Christ Jesus. And so the song is really following the sentiment of that scripture. And so have a great day. Have a great week. Have a powerful and productive day. Talk to you all soon. God bless.